I'm often asked, what is the point of housing in the Elder Scrolls Online? And while I enjoyed the design aspect and convenience of owning multiple homes, the most important factor has got to be the additional storage space that you can unlock through ESO housing. For most players, inventory management is a massive problem, and in this video, I'll show you how to unlock 360 extra storage slots for your account, and then how to design an awesome shed to put those storage chests in. Welcome back, citizens of Tamriel. I'm Cal, and today I'll help you unlock all 8 of the storage chests for your ESO house. Then, whether you're brand new to ESO housing or an expert interior designer, I'll give you some tips and tricks to help you design your very own storage shed to hold them all. Now, most of you probably already know how to get your first storage coffer. It's free at level 18. But I know many new players out there don't realize that you can actually unlock 3 more of the coffers and 4 of the larger 60-slot storage chests. In total, this will give you 360 extra storage slots that can only be accessed through ESO housing. So, how do you get the 7 other storage furnishings? Unfortunately, it's not as easy as just leveling up more characters. There are actually 3 ways to add these furnishings to your collection. You can purchase them with Master Writ vouchers from Rawlith Halalu in Elden Root, Mournhold, or Wayrest. Alternatively, you can grind the Imperial City and purchase them within your Alliance's base in the Imperial City sewers for Tel Var. Or you can just purchase them straight up via the Crown Store, which I do not recommend. I know that early on in your ESO career, farming Master Writ vouchers or Tel Var can seem annoying or maybe out of reach, but trust me, it is worth the wait. Don't spend your real money on things that you can unlock in-game. Now, before we move on, I'm going to quickly cover how to get Master Writ vouchers in Tel Var. Feel free to skip ahead if you're a seasoned vet. So, Master Writ vouchers come from completing Master Writs. You get Master Writs by completing max level daily writs. This means that you will need to max out the associated skill line for a particular crafting skill in order to start acquiring those Master Writs to complete. You can also buy and sell Master Writs, so if you have extra gold laying around, you don't have to farm up all of your own Master Writs. That being said, Master Writs do require high-level craft skills and research, as well as expensive crafting materials and motifs. So, for anyone out there who's less averse to PvP, the Tel Var route might be more attractive for you. You can earn Tel Var by killing things in the Imperial City or the sewers. Be warned though, if you die in the Imperial City, half of the Tel Var that you are currently carrying on your character will be lost. For this reason, I do strongly recommend banking most of your Tel Var and only carrying what you can stomach to lose. I do recommend keeping a little bit on your character, as it will multiply your Tel Var gains from kills. But just make sure to drop off your gains at the bank regularly to avoid losing it all. So, you know how to get your storage furnishings now, but not all homes can host all 8 at once. If you're like me, you're probably going to want to make your primary home one that will give you access to all 8 of those storage coffers and chests. These storage furnishings require a collectible furnishing slot to place, which means that if you're a free player, you're going to need a medium, large, or manor-sized house to have enough furnishing slots to place them all at once. Also keep in mind that you can only access the contents of those storage chests while they are placed inside the home. If you have ESO Plus, your home furnishing limits are actually doubled, which means that you can fit all 8 into a small house. Now, if you're a free player and you really want to make a small house your primary home, don't worry. You can always take advantage of the next ESO Plus free trial event to place the rest in your small home of choice, and then, as long as you don't pick them up or move them around, you'll still be able to use them and access them even if you let ESO Plus lapse. Okay, it's time for the best part of the video. Designing a shed to hold your recently acquired storage chests. Over the years, I've made several versions of this shed cobble, but I recently put together this beauty for my Stillwaters retreat. Full tour coming soon. All right, let's jump into the tutorial. All right, so I wanted to do a little bit of building on camera, but I am not the best at talking and designing at the same time. We can go ahead and break down these 2 storage centers right here and maybe pull some of the pieces out, and you can kind of see my process for how I went about building these. So if you had an ESO home that you wanted to build a storage center in, and you had something like this wall here, how do you get from just a blank wall to this storage center? So let's go ahead and just pull back a couple of the pieces here. So obviously we got these doors, totally optional. You don't need to add doors to your storage center. Some people might prefer to have their storage chests on display, but these are the high owl door, turquoise. There's a few different options here. I know there's a Fargrave one, but you would probably want to lay those down first so that you can get a sense of how wide they're going to be and then build the rest of the frame around them. So let's go ahead and pull these doors off here, and you can see the inside easier. All right, these elsewhere platforms are one of my favorite pieces to use. They're super functional, and they just happen to be right about the right size for a storage shed like this. So you can see these two, I've actually got turned vertical like that, and then I've got them facing inside out to give myself a little bit more depth here on the sides to hide some of those ugly seams. And then on the top and bottom, just got those platforms, and they are turned perpendicular like that so that they are the right size to hide the rest of the storage shed. Now, obviously we've got the storage chest here, and in order to build both of these and sort of measure things out, I went ahead and just split the chests up. So we've got two of the coffers over here and two of the chests over here. Let me go ahead and put those away real quick. Now, what I used for the interior shelves are two of these paintings. So this is All Flags on High. There you go. That is from ESO Plus, and the Sisters Archipelago. Now, if you don't have those paintings, there are other things that you could use for the shelves. You could use more of the elsewhere platforms. Maybe you have some of the other paintings. You can always pick up some of the more generic paintings that are available in the game. Some of them are super cheap. You'll only pay a few hundred gold for them. And then you might just have to use a couple to sort of, work out the shelf so they're the right width. Then for decoration, I went ahead and threw a couple vampiric sconces and my Thervacoon trophy. So let's go ahead and step back through that build process. And you can see here, everything coming back together. Now, if we had the rest of the coffers there, they would just slot in right there on that right side, and you would have your storage center done. Now, one of the tricky things with this one is that these doors are a little bit tricky to place, right? So this one on the left is actually flipped upside down, and this one on the right is actually rotated 10 extra degrees so that it closes and lines up nicely. So you'll probably, if you want to do doors like this, you're going to have to mess with them a little bit. All right, so let's take a closer look over here at the red one. So instead of the high aisle doors, I'm using these Dragon Guard trapdoors. These were available on the Luxury Merchant a few weeks ago. If you missed them, you should be able to get them on Guild Traders. I actually really love them for a storage center because they're a little bit wider than those blue doors, which means that it's a little bit of a more comfortable fit for the chests inside. Obviously, we've got an empty side over here where you would put the rest of the chests. So let's go ahead and pull those chests out first and then take these doors off the front. All right, so there's sort of the basic build. For the roof, I'm using the Necrom ramp wood. This is another one that's kind of tricky to place. If I pick one up here and reset its rotation, you can see that it's on a slant. So you'll want to get that lined up like this first before you actually flip it flat. Just makes it a little bit easier to place it. So let's go ahead and get rid of those ramps. For the sides, I am actually using the Merkmeyer wall straight. And here's a pro tip for this one. You see this nice straight line at the top? That's actually the bottom of the piece. So if we flip it over right side up, you'll see we've got this jagged edge, which is really difficult to work with. So what I like to do, just flip it upside down, and you've got a nice straight edge to work with. So let's get rid of those two. I went ahead and sunk in two of these Necrom lampposts. I really like these. They're a little bit pricey right now just because the style material is kind of rare. For the shelving, we've got more paintings here. This is the Sanity's Edge painting. This is the Endless Library painting. And this is Arrival at Balfoyan. Now, these ones are a little bit wider than the ones we used over here, the Sisters Archipelago and All Flags on High, and they work perfectly with this setup. Let's go ahead and walk back through here, and you can see the whole storage shed come back together. So I hope this was pretty satisfying. I know it's not quite as satisfying as watching it all built on camera, but that is extremely difficult to do. But there you go, two different storage sheds that I think look really good. You got a nice little shelf on top where you could put some additional knickknacks or treasures or extra decorative chests if you wanted to. And then if you don't like the doors and you just want a little bit easier access, you can certainly pull them off and you've still got a nice, neat, tidy storage center. All right, back to the video. And that's all there is to it. If you've watched any of my other videos here on YouTube, then you know that I'm passionate about ESO housing. And for me, it's not just about the storage space, but it's also hard for me to admit that those 360 extra storage slots are not the killer feature of housing in ESO. All right, everyone, I think I'm gonna call it there for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more housing cobbles in the future, be sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see me create. I'd also like to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Their direct support helps keep me going. If you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and you can click the link on screen now if you'd like to connect elsewhere or follow me on all the things. You can, of course, always find me on the PCNA server in the Elder Scrolls Online as well. Feel free to send me a tell in-game if you just want to chat, run a dungeon, or show off your house. See you all for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.